Good morning, students. Welcome all of you for today's class. Today also we will continue our second chapter, Principles of Management. Yesterday we discussed the first topic, the principles, which was given by Henry Fayol. So today we discuss on the principles of scientific management. So these scientific management principles are given by F.W. Taylor. Frederick Winslow Taylor is his full name. So he is regarded as the father of management, scientific management movement. So father of management, if question comes, you have to write Henry Fayol. Father of scientific management is F.W. Taylor. So he quoted like this: in the past the man has been first, in the future the system must be first. The first object of any good system must be that of developing first class man. So he is of the opinion that we have to develop first class man. If you develop people, no, they will be a very good assets for your organization. So here we will first discuss about F.W. Taylor. Who was F.W. Taylor? So Frederick Winslow Taylor was born in America on March 20, 1856 and died on March 21, 1915. That was his about his birth date and all. Then 1874 he became an apprentice mechanist and learned factory conditions at the grassroots level. So apprentice mechanist means it is very lower level work, and he worked as an apprentice, and grassroots level he understood the factory conditions at the grassroots level means operational level, that is lower level of management. We studied already the levels of management: top level, middle level and lower level. Okay, so he started his career in the lower level management. Then he became an executive at Midway Steel Company in the year 1884, and he joined in Bethlehem Steel Company, and there he introduced piece rate system. So afterwards he joined in another company 1898, and he introduced piece rate system. So what do you mean by piece rate system? Piece rate system means according to production, or according to production per unit, we will decide the remuneration to the employees or workers. Wages and or salary we decide according to the product produced by the workers. So there is another system, that is time rate system. So time rate system means according to time we give the remuneration, time spent by the worker in an organization. Okay, next in 1900 he worked as a professor in Tuck School of Business at Dartmouth College. So he became professor. So he see his level, he is coming from very lower level to the higher level. And then he selected as a president of American Society of Mechanical Engineers. So he became the president in a society of America, and he became the mechanical engineers. So he was a very good person, and his career itself we can understand that he made a very good experiment in his career life and invented so many things. So that only in our present factory situations and management theories, whatever we are applying in our different organizations, are contributed by this F.W. Taylor also. Okay, so we will go to our topic, meaning and definition of scientific management. So what do you mean by the scientific management? So scientific management means the word science is there. So scientific means what we have to do here with the science subjects, or scientific means something related to technology or something scientifically we think. We use that word in different contexts, but here the word scientific management here refers to the application of science to management practices. So whatever science we can practice in management system, that is called scientific management. So scientific management definition we can say like this: knowing exactly what you want meant to do and do it in the best and cheapest way. So first, management should know what we are going to do. First we should know, we means manager should know what we are going to do. Then we have to communicate it properly to the workers and do it in the best and cheapest way. So we have to do it in the best way, but at a very lower cost. So this is the meaning and definition of scientific management. And next we'll go to the principles of scientific management. So already I told you he worked at a grassroots level, and he has given so many theories and principles which is applicable. Actually he wants to develop the root level or lower level workers. So any organization you take, if lower level employees are working more effectively, then altogether the organization will improve or grow very efficiently. So in school you take, so school also, we also have organization set up like headquarters in Delhi, then different regions, then different schools. Under school is under control of principal, then teachers. So many people are there. Then students, so students are the lower level, like teachers also in lower level only. So here you can see how things are properly communicated to other people. So how we are managing it, we can see through the organizational setup. So principles of scientific management. Taylor formulated principles for managing an organization scientifically. So the scientific management is based on 5 principles which are discussed below. So in your syllabus, 5 principles, main principles are given, F.W. Taylor's. So that we will discuss first. So this picture you see rule of thumb. So rule of thumb means, we know what do you mean by rule of thumb. Rule of thumb indicates authority to exercise the power or the role. So thinking, if yesterday also I told you, no, centralization, decentralization. So centralized power means all power, decision making power is vested in the hands of top management. Or decentralization means we are passing, or we are giving freedom to our employees to utilize the authority. So here rule of thumb means this is old method. So what F.W. Taylor wants to say, all should be under me rule of thumb. This is also another picture, and what he wants to say actually is science but not rule of thumb. So rule of thumb we don't want in any organization. If you handle your employees, or if you manage your organization with the rule of thumb method, then you cannot achieve the objectives of the organization very easily. So science rule of thumb will see. So replacement of old rule of thumb method. The basic principle of scientific management is the application of scientific methods in solving problems. So scientific management basic theory is always you think scientifically. So here we are not giving any importance to individual opinion or individual interest. So here we will see how organization can improve by adopting scientific methods. Scientific method requires cause and effect relationship of any work to be performed. So any scientific relation or any scientific things you take, there will be cause and effect relationship. So for each and every outcome, there will be a cause and there will be an effect. So scientific method involves investigation of traditional method through work study, unifying the best practices and developing a standard method. So this is the correct meaning of scientific method. It involves investigation of traditional methods. So we have to investigate it, we have to study on it through work study, and we can unify, or we can make it together the best practices and developing a standard method. So we are not neglecting the old methods, or traditional methods. Traditional methods we do investigation, and we can have changes on that and apply those theories or principles in our organization in the best way. That is called scientific methods. Okay, so first principle over. Now second principle we'll see here. So here you can see he is the person manager and he is the employee, and both are happy in his hands. It is written bonus. So here sharing of gains between management and workers. So here management and workers, they are sharing the bonus. So production graph you can see here, this production graph is going up. So whenever there is an increase in profit, of course management show an attitude to share it with the workers. So if only management take all the shares, only top level people share it, and they will take all the credits, then the employees will be dissatisfied and next time they won't be working properly. So we have to take care of that. Whenever there is an increase in production, we can share our profit with the employees also, that is called bonus. Anything additional given apart from the normal profit, that is called bonus. Okay, so next we'll see. Here also one picture, the management top level people are coming and they are also doing their work with the other fellow workers. So this is another picture, and we'll see. So what is the principle next? Harmony, not discord. So we should not neglect any worker, so we have to work in harmony. Factory system of production implied that managers served as a link between owners and the workers. So here in levels of management we saw there is top level, middle level and lower level. So middle level managers are the link between the top level and lower level. So these people will be acting as a bridge between the top level and lower level workers. So always no, there will be a conflict, because if workers have any complaint, any grievances, they will be telling to management. Then all these complaints manager will be communicating to the top level. So top level also compel the manager to execute the work in as per their order. So in between these two, management and workers, the person standing in between these two is manager. So always there may be a chance of conflict between these two. So Taylor emphasized that there should be a complete harmony between management and workers. Both should realize that each one is important. So Taylor was saying there should be a harmony between management and workers. Management has to think worker is important. Without worker means no work will be done there properly. So my workers has to think I am here for working. That's why I am earning some amount for my family. So I have to take care of the organization. So both have to think about each others, and they should work for the overall development of the organization. Then Taylor called for complete mental revolution on the part of management and workers. So mental revolution means change in the attitude of workers. That is called mental revolution. So workers should attend their jobs with the utmost division and careful, not to waste resources of the organization. So whenever are there in the organization, they have to work with the utmost care and dedication. So management also has to create a suitable working condition, solving problems properly. So give a space for suggestions from employees, and solve their problems, issues, anything. So these are all also to be considered. So mental revolution means that only change in the mental attitude of both management and workers. So management should share the gain of the company with the workers. At the same time, workers should work hard and will embrace change for the good of the company. So whenever changes come, employees has to appreciate it, and they have to take it in a good spirit, and they have to move forward. So harmony, not discard. Next one we'll see. Don't stray from the crowd. Individualism is sadness. So whenever there is a group of people, always happiness will be there, so individualism is not good in an organization. Then if all workers think I am unique, then that is easy. Individualism is easy in the sense, in the negative way. Then if people are thinking me, then we. So we means that is showing an union is strength principle, Henry Fayol we discussed there. So what Taylor is saying, so here also one picture. See, in through group means we can achieve our target very fast. If you do alone, then it will be time consuming process. This also showing a togetherness. They're all together going hand in hand. Then so cooperation. So next principle is that only cooperation. So team. team means, what is the meaning? Together everyone achieves more. So alone we cannot do anything. Suppose I am teaching only from my side, if you are not doing from your side, then we cannot achieve the goal or objectives. What, for what purpose we are doing it? So like that only, any organization, any work you take, any example you can take, so when people are together coordinated, then it is easy to achieve the objectives. Okay, so the principle is cooperation, not individualism. So cooperation, not individualism, is an extension of the principle harmony, not discord. So we can say harmony, cooperation, everything we discussed there also. So it is an extension of that principle only. Competition should be replaced by cooperation. So remember these sentences. These sentences only, they in question paper they ask which principle is mentioned here. So almost all principles are same. So you note down this. Competition should be replaced by cooperation. So we know that competition, if competition there is there in any organization, then it will lead to another competition. So it should be replaced by cooperation. So we have to try to work in a cooperative way. Then next, management should not close its ears for any constructive suggestion made by the employees. So management also has to give a space to the employees to give their suggestions. So when employees are appreciated for their good suggestions, then they will be feeling motivated and they will work hard for the organization. Then they should be rewarded for their suggestions, which result in substantial reduction in cost. So any good suggestions are given by the employees. Because of that, if the production increased, sales increased, if the profit also increased, then of course we have to give some reward to that workers. You must have seen when you go to shops and all, sales girl of the month, boy of the month, like that and all, they will put their photos and keep. So why they are doing like that? It is to encourage the worker to do more sales next month. So like this, no, not only like here, any field you take, in the top level also we can do, middle level, any field, whenever there is an authority, responsibility, superior subordinate relationship, we have to motivate our employees, then they will be working very hard. Okay, so next, so here in the picture you can see one person standing with the board, and he is teaching. Some people are listening there. And what is this? Learning. So how we learn? When we do, learning by doing is the best method, you know. Then training. So training sessions, instructions, activities, challenges, tasks, everything will be there in training. So training ultimately give all these things. I'm not saying one by one. You can see this training. Through training will get knowledge transfer will be there, effective operation, then improved quality of life, lower maintenance cost. Of course, if you are trained your employees properly, then they will be working with the machines properly. Otherwise, every day repair will be there. Then innovation, stagnation. So innovation go up, stagnation no growth. Here you see going up means growth. It indicates growth of the organization. So what this picture says, scientific selection and training of workers. So whenever you select employees in your organization, it should be selected in a scientific way. Means you have to observe things, you have to investigate things, see the qualification, see the post, then only you appoint the people in a particular post. So individual efficiency depends to a large extent on a personal competencies. So one person's individual efficiency is his personal competency. So personal competency, of course, it will reflect in the individual efficiency. So that is inborn. But according to Taylor, scientific selection and training and development of workers is understood to a central personal department. So, but some other talents we can develop through training. So here Taylor was suggesting like we can form a separate department for the recruitment, selection, training and development of workers. That particular department is known as personal department. So this is just like other departments we know, marketing department, production department, sales department, just like that only this department also, that is known as what, personnel department. So one particular department should be there for the recruitment, selection, training of workers. So training is required for increasing efficiency. So whenever we want to refresh the employees with the new knowledge, or if we want to give them or familiarize them with the new technologies, so we can give training, and that of course increase the efficiency of the employees. Then this one, see, so we can see in large quantity some items are there. So here also large scale production, it's a big factory. And so this next principle is maximum output in place of restricted output. So we should not try for a restricted output or minimum output. So always we have to try for maximum output. So the aim of management and workers should be to maximize the output. It suggests that on no ground is production to be curtailed or productivity allowed to decrease. So we should not allow to decrease our performance. If production stopped or sales reduced, no demand, that and all indicate negative sign for an organization, business organization. So like that only in any organization, if no work is there, then that means their productivity or their performance is going down. So what we have to do, workers and management get good reward for their services. So whenever workers perform well, we have to give them good reward. Maximum output will also be in the interest of society. So whenever we think about maximum output, we should not harm the interest of the society. Example, pollution and all. Okay, so maximum output means after considering society people, because business is standing in the society. Last year we studied social responsibility chapter and all. Business have a lot of responsibility towards different interested group or stakeholders in the society. So we have to take care of them. Okay, so these are the principles given by F.W. Taylor. And as a conclusion, I can say Taylor given more importance to the lower level management of the organization. So yesterday we discussed the Henry Ford's management theory. In that we understood that general management principle was given by Henry Ford. 14 principles were there. But Taylor mostly he has given all the tips through the principles for the lower level organizations, how to improve the performance of the lower level people. So according to him, if operational level workers efficiency improved, the overall objectives of the organization can be achieved easily. So operational level means lower level. So whenever lower level perform well, automatically the performance of the organization will improve. So this is the conclusion. So 5 principles I told you. Okay, so remember it, study it, prepare notes, and if any doubts you can send. Okay, thank you so much.